Stephen, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself, and then we'll move on to 3 questions,
Okay.
a minute and a half apiece, and then we'll have a 1-minute close.
Okay, well, my name is Stephen Kallas. I've been in McKinney for 22 years. I relocated from the state of Wisconsin. When I got done out of the service, my wife finished nursing school. We came down to visit her folks a couple times down here. Thought it was a fantastic place. Kind of joked around why we're still in Wisconsin. So she moved down and I followed her a couple months later. We got settled and I hadn't looked back since. I've had a second daughter here, which I often joke about that being my anchor baby, so you can't send me back. And in the, I don't know, last 8-10 years, I've gotten involved more in politics. I love it. It's a great thing. I'm always interested in what's going on, but one of my greatest passions is the preservation of liberty. And I've always focused on the state level because I believe that that was where the greatest insurance plan was to protecting liberty. And apparently, well, by doing that, I didn't pay close enough attention to what was going on in my own city. So the opportunity came about that we had a race that really didn't have a challenger. So on the last day, when there was still no challenger of any consequence, I jumped in because I just couldn't deal with the idea that somebody was going to run unopposed for an open seat. Just diametrically opposed to that. And then my opponent jumped in a little bit later on that same day, or I should say one of my opponents, which is all good. My goal is that all the voters should be educated and know what they believe and why they believe it. And if you don't like me, that's okay. I won't be hurt. Go vote for the person you do support. And if you at least know why you're voting for that person, we're all better off. That's good.
All right. Stephen, what are the 3 most important functions of city government? Please rate them in priority and support your choices.
Okay. Well, the first is going to be municipal services that do with sewer, streets, just basic infrastructure. Because if you can't get around and you can't find a place to park and you can't function, the city can't exist. After that, I would probably say the first responders, only because when you have a city and you have a higher density group of people, things happen. Whether it's a car crash, whether it's somebody burns their house down on, for whatever reason, you want for people to step in and take care of that and help you with it, because most people are not capable of doing that themselves. Beyond that, I would say probably parks. I think that when you live in a high density area, a lot of times green space gets lost and opportunities for recreation that don't involve a paved playground are lost. And if you can't preserve some of the green space, and if you can't preserve some of what brought you there in the first place, then what's the point of living in the city?
Do you like the idea of standardizing election dates so that we have our primaries in March and all other elections are held in November?
That's a pretty good question. I had never heard it phrased that way. So here's the thing. When elections are held in disparate times in the course of the year, there are opportunities that get lost. Voters get tired of going to the polls. They get tired of paying attention. That's self-evident by the fact that we have such anemic turnout. If you can't get the people to pay attention for an extended period of time, you can pull all sorts of shenanigans. And bad things happen when people don't pay attention. So if that was going to make things better, which I would generally agree it would, I would be all for it.
Okay. If you are elected, what would need to be accomplished in order for your term to be considered a success in your own mind?
When I get on the seat, my goal would be for everything that the city does gets called into question first. I'm not convinced that there's anybody that says no or questions what the motivation or what the reason is for what we're doing. I'm open to the concept that, hey, these are legitimate functions of the city, or these are legitimate functions that we could do in lieu of another group or another foundation, or just somebody else doing it. maybe the city can do it better. I'm not convinced of that, but I may be open to that discussion. If we could just streamline some of the processes involved, the city of McKinney has quite the reputation of being difficult to deal with, and we have really hurt ourselves in dealing with larger businesses that want to relocate, and we kind of punish our mom and pop shops by the way we do the tax rates. So I would look to flatten that out. I would look to encourage more interaction. And the other thing that I find kind of interesting is, while the several people that I've met that work for the city have been generally nice, when you talk to somebody over the phone or you try and do something, it can be a long, arduous situation to get anything done, get anything accomplished, and that needs to stop. They need to focus on their customer service.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. You have 1 minute to wrap up.
Okay, so I propose that everybody needs to be heard. And I think in a large section of our city is ignored. You can take your own decision on what section of the city is ignored or what group is ignored, but I think there's more than one, and I think it's not just the geographic and location. I think it's just a culture that we are in charge, we know better than you, and we're gonna do what is best for you, and that's a problem. We need to stop that. And I propose that I'm the guy to interfere, I'm the guy to stick my nose in there, I'm the guy to question them and make them have a good answer for it. I have nothing bad to say about my opponents, but I just don't think they're willing to do that, and I am.
All right, thanks, Stephen. All right.